Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Lago, one half Enduro, back at it again with another video. Again, for people who will be annoyed or whatever, I am driving, so yes, background noise is going to be there, but I'm not responding. I'm just listening to a video here because I've done talk about the keycard situation and everything. So let's see some of the nuance. The name of the title of the video is Nintendo finally fixing Nintendo Switch keycards? And I want to see what this person has to say. Now, some of the stuff will be like, probably Nintendo doing this and that, the usual stuff. I know that's going to happen. And again, are they going to bring up Xbox and PlayStation? Not really. But, okay. We'll see how that works.
Nintendo's most controversial Switch 2 decision might finally be cracking, guys, and if this change sticks, it would completely reshape physical games on the Switch 2 platform or expose an even bigger problem that nobody wants to admit, guys. One of the loudest complaints about the Nintendo Switch 2 hasn't been the price, hasn't been the power or lack of, or even the launch lineup. It's been the game key cards, and I've spoken very loudly about these things. And yeah, honestly, I can get why people hate them. They sit around in this awkward middle ground where nobody really wins, guys. Digital buyers lose convenience, physical collectors lose ownership, and everyone else gets stuck relying on servers they don't control. At any moment, they can just shut down your game, delist it, adios amigo.
How would they delist it? If you already done, I'm just saying, if you already done downloaded the game, like how I've got on my Wii U, and there's games I have that's already delisted on my Wii U, it's still the console still has the program, so it still works. So they could delist it, but it won't affect it. Just like a digital game, if they delist a digital game, the thing is, until the console is gone, then you're screwed. Yes, I admit to that. That is true. And I work for digital and the key card. That sucks. But again, it's up to your discretion to buy that said card. I have not bought a key card yet. My sister has. Katie, the other half of Enduro, has bought 2 key cards. That's her choice. That's what she wanted. Do I think she'll ever destroy her Switch, or Switch gonna happen? Is she gonna enjoy to play them? No. I think she's gonna be like me and preserve her gaming just like I preserve my gaming. So I think she'll have the games as long as she's around. You know, God bless me. That's what I think, and I know. I don't think so. I know so. And knowing me and her, we're going to get a Switch 2. We both of us have a Switch 2. When Switch 2 OLED comes out, we're basically going to get it. Yes, we'll call us shills, whatever. We don't care. But at least we have 2 consoles that will have the game downloaded into the consoles that we could have in case something ever happens and back up. I have 3. I have a Nintendo Lite, Switch Lite. I have a Nintendo Switch OLED and the OG Switch. I use the OG Switch on my big screen TV. I barely use the light as much now, but I do charge it to keep it going, whatever. I mostly take the light if I'm traveling to family's house, whatever, because I don't need super graphical. I just need something quick, and I'll do that. Something that's quick to put in the old backpack and go. And the OLED is the one I keep downstairs in my bedroom, which might be changing. We'll have to see. I might be changing because I'm changing my nightstand situation where I have my games up top and ready to go. So we'll see how all that works out when the time comes. That's what I'm seeing. But yeah, it's you get a box, you get a collection. Yes, it's a key card. It's better than a box, a paperboard in the box, a card in the box. That's for sure. Code in the box, if you want to call it. Yeah. And again, digital, the convenience. again, I could at least with that, at least again, my sister can give me the game. I could download it, play it, have it, no problem at all. That's just me. But then again, I digress.
So, fuck you, goodbye, right? For digital players, the biggest problem is that game key cards force you to carry a cartridge just to access the game that still downloads to your system.
Here's the part about this. Not really. Because if you want it digital, you'll get digital. They're digital versions of all those keycard games. You want it digital, you'll get digital. So you just mostly try to work out the physical part for people who want easy to share with other people and out the physical aspects. And again, they give them the option, and they do that. did videos about this before. They could do certain things, but gaming companies don't want to do it. Nintendo gave you an option. You can do that. You can go ahead and buy it, and it's still selling it. You could buy the old Switch 1 stuff and still run the games. You could buy Switch 1 cartridges. You still can, and put it on a 8, a 4, 8, or 16, whatever. But some companies ain't doing that. Some other companies, mostly a lot of the Japanese companies are doing that. Western developer ones, not so much. Not so much. But if you wanted to get a digital game, you don't need a key card. That's the digital key card is absolutely not right. This is mostly trying to trend towards physical gaming, not that.
That completely defeats the point of digital convenience. At that point, why don't you just get an actual physical game, right? And for physical collectors, it's worse. You technically own something, right? Yes. If that's all it takes, guys, I'll sell you this empty chicken nugget box that I have right here, right? Oh, you'll have a physical thing of chicken nuggets, even though the nuggets aren't in there because I ate them already. That's basically what it is. But you guys are so brain dead when it comes to Nintendo that you can't see the force.
That's a stupid analogy, and you're brain dead for that dumbass analogy. Here's a chicken nugget box. Oh wow! Let me see. Give me a box where I could if I could open it any time, I get nuggets inside of it all the time. That would be great. Because you're playing the game, you moron. How stupid are you? These gamers. You want to know why the industry dies? Because it's stupid. That's a stupid analogy, and that's stupid. What you just said right there. It's dumb. You got the game. Until your console destroys, or if you lose the cartridge, like if you lose a physical cartridge, you don't have the game. That's it. Why is it so hard about that? It's not that hard. Oh, good Lord.
Through the trees. But yeah, you technically own something, but that something's useless without server checks, guys. And if those servers ever go offline, that physical copy, I say in quotes, might as well be a coaster. One day, you're not going to be able to play that game.
Okay, I'll stand up right here and say this. I didn't like this for Nintendo on the Switch 1, so I'll point this out. And if I have not played a keycard game, I might have to do exactly what he says and double check it. I'm gonna do that, and I will do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go off the premises that he's bought a keycard and his stuff, because I've not bought one. Okay, I'm gonna use a keycard. And pointing out that I hated this on Switch 1. That's me. So I admit to that Nintendo does something on Switch 1 that, well, they did a lot of stuff I didn't like on Switch 1, but again, it was stuff that, again, most gamers asked for. I've done the videos showing the receipts of people asking for this dumb shit, and when it came to the console, then you're like, oh no, why Nintendo, why did you do it? Because y'all asked for it, you dumbasses. That's why I said it was the industry that destroyed. The game was destroyed at. I've done videos back in 2014 and up, where you guys wanted Nintendo to be like Sony and Microsoft so bad, and they implemented this stupid stuff, and now y'all like, oh well, that was a dumb thing. We should have never did that. No shit, Sherlock. We should blame Nintendo because Nintendo. No, you guys asked for it, and now that y'all see that it was implemented the way that y'all didn't like it, which I know that was going to be the problem, let's just say I'm not surprised. Now, I'll say this to what the mighty ramblings I just did there. If I gotta do an internet check on the key cards to play the games, then I agree with the person on I agree with the who is this 8E whatever. I agree with the YouTuber. If you gotta do an internet check to play the cards, to play the key card, then I agree with you. Then when the server shuts down, then it's a problem. Then yes, the key card is less and more relevant. I will agree with you, and I will say, hey, third parties, which I'm not surprised, just whatever. I'd rather you put the $20 into the card and let me get and say, hey, if you guys want physical, you can buy for this price. I would rather do that physical. Yes, it might be $90 for a game. That doesn't shock me because I was paying $190 and $100 before, but back in the 90s. Yes, inflation, all that stuff, but I was paying that back then, so it doesn't bother me now that I have money now. I didn't have money back then, and I was paying it. And free, so whatever. I'd rather that than you guys doing that. But, and I guess, because again, people keep on forgetting, it was the Nintendo asked the third parties what they want to do with their game stuff, and they wanted the key card situation. And now that Nintendo gave them the solution of the key cards, people are pissed off of that. So again, I will hold my tongue onto that part. And if that's true, then okay, you're correct, sir. If you gotta do an internet check, and I will gladly make a video saying the key cards are a bad investment. All right, I have not bought one myself. Katie has bought 2, so I will check one of them and see how that works. Now, it depends on 2 things too. Both games that Katie bought are third parties, Street Fighter and Yakuza. That's what she bought. I want to see how that works. So I'll take Street Fighter and see. And the reason I say it's third party because Capcom then might do something as a server check or something like that. It might not be Nintendo. We'll don't know. I don't know. I gotta wait until Poketopia, whatever it is, which is a Nintendo published game, and if that does that as well too. Different things, see all that stuff. But again, if you do a system check, then sir, you're correct. I think your analogy still was ass, but you're correct.
At all. And then what do you get? Nothing, guys. And this has been a known problem for a while. It's been an issue. The other companies kind of do it too. Xbox and PlayStation been guilty about it too.
Thank you.
The Switch too. A lot of people have been extremely upset about it because there's options for carts on the Switch OG, but the Switch 2 doesn't have them. But I'm getting ahead of myself right there. The real issue was never the card itself, guys. It's the
La marca Prosecco is made for
Nintendo cartridge strategy. So what do they have available? Up until now, Switch 2 physical games were locked to one size. One option, a 64 gigabyte cartridge, guys, which sounds fine on paper until you look at the economics behind it. If a publisher is selling, let's say, a $30 to $40 game, why would they pay roughly $20 for a massive cartridge and torch their margins? At the
Pass it on to the customer if it's $30 there. I have no problem paying a $50 game if the game is worth it. Since y'all are so blaze, it's either you want digital or not. That's the difference. Pass it on or whatever. I'll pay. Oh, well, you can pay that other people can't pay. Then you don't own nothing. Again, y'all choose the stupid stuff for me.
End of the day, it comes down to money, cash money. If these companies are making profit, that's all they care about, right?
Yes.
When a game key card is cheaper and safer for their bottom line, they're going to go with that. They're going to have a physical product out there. Instead of wasting your money on a Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge that's 64 gigabytes and it's $20 per unit, they're going to go with the cheaper alternative, which is the game key card, which is a half-assed, lazy way of putting a physical cartridge out there. That's why so many
So you just proved my point that third parties make that decision. I don't say they have to eat the cost. I said it just tell it, hey, we'll go and get the cards and just tell y'all if y'all want a physical version of these games, y'all, this is the price for it, and let the customer make the choice of do I want it or not want it.
Budget and older games skipped real physical releases entirely. If you look at the launch lineup up until this point, the majority of the quote-unquote physical games on the Switch 2 are game key cards. They have that big ugly banner down at the bottom. I refuse to buy them. All of my Switch 2 games are fully physical, guys. But
No.
now, this latest news...
Well, there you go. So what? All your games are physically... Oh my goodness. And you know there's another problem that killed me too? The ugly banner. You know there's ways, there are literally ways. You can go to carver.com, really, and stuff. Or go to Etsy. You can just buy the digital version, which is like $3 if you want to. And print out a new cover without the key card situation in the bottom. Imagine that. Or, like Nintendo has done, which I've done too, I flipped it around and just, they give you two covers on one side or the other. I flipped it around and you don't like that banner thing. That's what I've done as well. But again, if it's that ugly to you, you make a difference. If it's not, then you don't gotta move it without.
that might finally be changing. According to multiple sources, Nintendo is quietly offering smaller Switch 2 cartridge sizes to developers, which is good. Now, this isn't rumors from random accounts, but chatter coming directly from people who work with physical releases. So this is actually a little bit more credible, right? One source even confirmed that multiple capacities are already in production, though supply is limited due to ongoing chip shortages. And while prices aren't cheap, the option now exists, which is nice, right? That's the key difference. Options for people developing and publishing games. And this matters more than people realize and what they want to realize. Again, on the original Switch,
I guarantee you, okay, you say that. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. I'm not against that. How should you want to bet the big ass third party that the games that y'all want still going to use key cards if they tend to give them the option? The reason why I know that, because when we had the option on the Switch 1, they were doing codes in the box. Ubisoft was doing it. EA was doing that still. Activision, all of them were still doing it. On the old Switch, when you had all the options, they don't give a damn. Why you guys caping for third parties? I don't understand this. Nintendo is the problem, but you cape for third parties. Huh? What sense does that make? They had the option on the Switch 1 and they still did code in the box.
cartridges ranged from tiny sizes all the way up to 32 gigabytes. If Nintendo follows that same logic here, we're likely to see 8 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte, 32 gigabyte, and 64 gigabyte.
And I guarantee you the reason why they did this, Nintendo did this, which is good, and I think I know why they did this too, it's because of indies and small companies. They had remember I did a video when they were trying to talk to more smaller companies and third parties, because most third parties are a joke. They're a joke. And y'all keep on saying the industry is crazy, AAA's, blah blah blah. But you still buy the AAA garbage. That's a conundrum that puzzles moi. Really does. This is more for third-party games. No, this is for indie games. I guarantee this is for more smaller developers, small independent developers. So they can put their games on that. So Nintendo can have that library. I guarantee you that's what it is. This is me guessing after the last, talking about how Nintendo's talking to a lot of smaller developers. Because here's the funny part. There are a lot of small developers who have no problem buying the full cartridge and getting their stuff on the 64 cartridge. They pass the price on to us, but still it was games come out. Marvelous did it. But third parties can't. Huh? Marvelous did completely.
Options for Switch 2, which that single change solves one of the biggest physical roadblocks overnight. Now, is it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Hopefully soon, not anytime soon. All of the physical games that are out already, that are game key cards, aren't going to be switched over. There's no way, no how. But suddenly, budget games, retro collections, smaller third-party titles, indie projects, they can all justify a true physical release without bleeding money, because they got that Switch tax to print physical, right? They got to pay.
Again, I got a question. You say that, right? It's coming out March, what do you call it? It's March Marvel Invasion. Small company, that team with all the stuff. They got a physical version for the Switch and Switch 2. I still want to know what the difference between Switch and Switch 2 for Marvel Invasions, but they're gonna do it because I'll buy the cheaper version. So how come they could do it? The tax for Switch 2 is $10 for what I saw, because it's $10 difference for Switch 2. Okay. Physical. Okay. That don't hurt the pockets. And again, I laugh at the people who do these videos, like a Frittata and all these people. Unless you make YouTube videos as your job, and I mean that, like your job is just YouTube videos, then and you're not putting in enough money, I feel sorry for you. This is one of the reasons I never wanted to be a YouTuber. I'm gonna take my job that I make as an architect, and also one of my company, and well, mostly let's go architect, because that takes 8 hours a day at least, and try to do YouTube and make what? Now, if I made it big, like an Aspen goal or some shit like that, that's all good. But that's a high chance. I stick with my architecture, where it's guaranteed money. I'll stick with that.
A good amount of money per unit, and then you got to figure out your price and all that. So games that were previously defaulted to key cards now have a real alternative. So in the future, let's say Ubisoft brings some more games. God forbid, they're better than Shadows and Outlaws, but you get my drift. Sega, Ubisoft, all these companies that use game key cards now could eventually use a physical alternative that's actually a little bit more real. But let's not pretend that this fixes everything, guys, because it absolutely doesn't. First, the costs are still rising across the board, all right, with the industry. We got the whole thing with memory prices that are going up.
That's not Nintendo's fault.
With the Sana tasks
That are going up. We're in hell. AI is ruining everything here, guys. Manufacturing also isn't getting cheaper.
Yep.
It's all costing a lot because AI-driven demand for chips is squeezing the supply everywhere, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. It's actually accelerating at a faster pace than we can keep up. Somebody needs to develop an alternative here. I don't know what's going to happen here, man. Elon Musk, save us, please. And second, the most important thing to remember is that game key cards are not going away.
No.
Some publishers will still unfortunately choose them because they're cheaper. Okay? They're faster to deploy, and they're easier to manage.
Yes.
It's convenience for them, right?
Yeah.
The main factor in that, though, is the word cheaper. They want to make money. They don't want to spend money. And third, and this is the most uncomfortable truth right here, guys, modern games are massive. We're talking 100 gigabytes, 80 gigabytes. Those are common. If you have an Xbox or PlayStation, it's not uncommon to see an 80 gigabyte game. You think about 120 gigabyte games like Call of Duty, 150 gigabyte games like big open world genres, guys. No reasonable cartridge size is going to handle that anytime soon. So that's why, especially on Xbox and PlayStation, we've seen things similar to game key cards. Large third-party games are still going to rely on downloads or key cards.
Thank you.
That's just the fucking reality. Does it suck? Absolutely, it does.
So it's
Okay.
not a Nintendo issue.
There's
Thank
also
you.
the performance factor. Digital installs and key cards often load faster than standard cartridges. I don't know why, but even first-party titles show small but measurable differences. Some regions, or some engines, simply aren't built for cartridge speeds. And developers have openly admitted that. So some of these guys are developing on certain...
What bullshit is that? Some engines are not for cartridge speeds? What bullshit is that? How the... Okay, that's bullshit. That is literally bullshit. And I would take a couple seconds of loading, because again, load has changed so much now. I'll take a couple seconds load, maybe because I'm an old school gamer. Okay, I came from things where it takes a long time to load. Just because it ain't gonna be, it's not gonna be the loading back to what it was back on the 64 and Super Nintendo and stuff like that. It's not those kind of loading. So let's miss me with the bullshit.
For their video games, they're not built for cartridge speeds. They have to be faster. So it's not a perfect solution by any means, guys, but it is an important one. It absolutely is an important one, because for the first time, Nintendo is giving developers and consumers a real choice. And if a game doesn't need...
For the first time, they gave you a choice from the beginning. What the... You gamers, again, kill me.
Massive storage or ultra-fast read speeds, there's no longer an excuse not to offer a true physical version other than that you're a cheap ass, right? So now comes the moment of truth. If publishers take the risk, and if physical fans really believe in ownership, then people need to start putting their money where their mouth is.
Thank you.
Because if physical Switch 2 games cost a few dollars more and nobody's buying them, this experiment's going to end fast. We're going to go back to just game key cards only. Okay? The market will decide whether physical media survives.
No, not the market. It's gamers who decide it. And that's the problem. So again, all your hullabaloo before, and again, I agree with you on the whole, if it internet connect to the internet again, I agree with you. If that's the case, then I agree with you 100% in that regard. And I would tell people, do not buy a key card either. Okay, don't. I don't know, but I have no, so I'll check it out myself and I'll do a video about it. That's how I work. But it depends on people buying the shit. Gamers, use your wallet. Speak with your wallet. Buy physical games. If you don't buy physical games, then what the is all the again, this video is irrelevant. You just made the video irrelevant with what you just said. I'm not saying irrelevant that the video, okay, the topic is irrelevant, not your video. Your video is need to be out there. But I'm talking about if people don't want to buy it, then it's gonna go away, and then you don't own shit.
Forums, not Reddit, not comment sections, not nostalgia. At the end of the day, it's our money. Okay?
Thank you.
That's why I don't buy game key cards. I want true physical media to be on the Switch too, or at least a little bit more common. At least a 50-50, right? Game key cards aren't going away, but let's see some full physical media at least sometimes. So if people don't buy actual full physical media, they're just going to stick around with the options that they got, guys. But this is a step in the right direction, hopefully. But whether it leads anywhere depends entirely on what happens next, guys. So I want to hear from you. If a true physical Switch 2 game costs more, are you going to buy it just because it's a real physical? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if this video was entertaining to you. If you enjoyed it, that goes a long way.
Okay, anyway, yes. Answer is yes. That's what I think, and that's what it should be. I'll pay for it if I own it outright, yes. I've done that with my music software. I've done that with my video editing software. I spend a lot more money to my music editing. Like I said, I spend more money because $10. You ain't gonna when I do subscription based, people are like, oh well, it's subscription based for my music, and it's $14 a month for the software I use for music. $14 a month, and you could do that whatever. I bought it. Yeah, I bought my software 4 years ago it was an upgrade. I initially bought the software with all the bells and whistles to edit, tune music, do all that stuff for $5,000. No, $2,500. It was $5,000. Got it on sale, $2,500. I bought that back in 2017. I have getting minor upgrades all the way up. Thank goodness for that. I have not switched over to a new to get a new stuff because I own the music software outright. I own it because things that people don't understand. If you buy, and I've done this because I've seen other people buy the same software and they tell me the problems. I'm like, oh, thank God I ain't got to worry about that crap. You got to buy the licenses to do MP4. You got to buy the licenses to do Wave, which is stupid sometimes. I'm like, what? A form of music